Hello, I'm Professor Susan DeGize. This tutorial is on Practice 2.4a. Directions. Fill in the table with the correct pitch names. You may use the keyboard below for help. Alright, so I'm going to do the sample for you. Now in this exercise, the pitch is given in the third column, and we need to write a chromatic half step below here and a diatonic half step below here. Then a chromatic half step above here and a diatonic half step here. So remember that chromatic half steps will have the same letter name, while diatonic half steps have different letter names. So we can go ahead and put E here and E here, because we know the chromatic half steps will be E something. So a chromatic half step below E is E flat, and a chromatic half step above E is E sharp. Now for the diatonic half steps, we know they have to be different letter names. So the letter before E is D, and the letter after E is F, right? So we have D, E, F, like that. Okay, so a diatonic half step below E is going to be D sharp. And a diatonic half step above E is going to be F. Now you can double check your work, because these notes and these notes should be enharmonically equivalent. So is D sharp enharmonically equivalent to E flat? Yes. Is E sharp enharmonically equivalent to F? Yes. Alright, go ahead and do numbers 1 through 5 on your own. Pause the video and press play when you're ready. Okay, number 1. We can put C here and C here. A half step below C is C flat. A half step above C is C sharp. The letters here are going to be B, C, D. A diatonic half step below C is B, and a diatonic half step above C is D flat. All right, number 2. The chromatic half steps are going to be D's. Half step below is D flat. Half step above is D sharp. The letters here are going to be C, D, E. So a chromatic half step, a diatonic half step below D is C sharp, and a diatonic half step above D is E flat. Number 3, this is going to be G something and G something. A chromatic half step below G flat is G double flat, and a chromatic half step above G flat is just G. Now you could put G natural, but just putting G is fine. The diatonic half steps are going to be F something, G, and then A. Okay, so a diatonic half step below G flat is simply F, so I don't need an accidental. Now if you put an F natural, I would actually consider that incorrect, because that natural is emphasizing that it's not sharped or flatted, but there's no reason to put a natural there. Okay, now a diatonic half step above G flat. This one might be a little tricky, so let's use the keyboard. So here's G flat, and a half step above G flat is here, which looks like G. However, we need to call this A something in order to be diatonic. So if this is A here, and this is A flat here, then this would be A double flat. You see that? Okay. Number 4, this can be F something, this can be F something. So a chromatic half step below F sharp is just F. Now if you put natural here, that's okay. A chromatic half step above F sharp is F double sharp. This is going to be E something, and this is going to be G something. So a diatonic half step below F sharp is E sharp. And a diatonic half step above F sharp is simply G. Okay? The last one, this is C something and C something. half step below C flat is C double flat, and a half step above C is just C. You could put C natural here if you wanted. This is going to be B something, and this is going to be D something. So a diatonic half step below C flat is B flat. And a diatonic half step above C flat looks like C, right? But it's got to be D something, so that's going to be D double flat. All right, so if you have any questions on diatonic or chromatic half steps, please reread section 2.4. You've now completed the tutorial for practice 2.4a. Thank you for watching.